Hey, I'm your host, Evan Graver, and welcome to Plot Recon, where thrillers get tactical. Today I'm joined by Don Rich, author of the Coastal Adventure series and the Mob Jack Mysteries, and multiple spin-offs set along the Mid-Atlantic and Gulf Coasts. Don's books combine local knowledge, waterborne action, and high-stakes drama, pulling from decades of experience boating, fishing, and flying throughout the region. He's written more than a dozen novels in 5 years, building a loyal readership around characters who live and work in the very waters he knows firsthand. We'll talk about how he develops maritime settings as living environments, how he blends suspense with realism, and his background as pilot and lifelong outdoorsman reflects every beat of his storytelling. So welcome to the show, Don.
Thanks. It's great to be here, Evan.
All right. So I had 20 questions, but I'm going to skip the first couple and just kind of wing it here because you grew up in Florida and you worked on fishing boats and that kind of stuff. What made you decide to move to Central Virginia?
Everybody else moved to Florida.
That is true. I moved here.
When I was born in 1959 in Palm Beach County, we had 220,000 people. When I left in 2000, there were 1,300,000 people just in that county alone, and now Lord knows how many are there. And in that time, they hadn't added any more boat ramps, but everybody that moved to Florida added a boat. So the waterways became a lot more clogged. It got so expensive, and Virginia was calling.
So why not move to the coast? Why move to Central Virginia?
Family.
Okay.
My wife's family were just outside of Charlottesville, and so we had bought a little farm near Afton, and then ended up selling it and building a house in a development. Why, I don't know.
So after moving to Virginia, what'd you do work wise, and then how did you get into writing?
Uh, I did a lot of real estate investing, buying and selling, and how did I get it? I've always wanted to write, and when I was going to Palm Beach Junior College, now Palm Beach State College or whatever they call it, I was in this. It was a required course, introduction to writing or whatever, and it was taught by the head of the of the head of the department, and so a little ways into the course, she calls me up in front of the class and says, "So, what do you plan to do with your writing? When you get out of college?" I said, I just planned to write so that I could get out of college, and and she said, "No, you're about one of the top three writers that I've had in all my years," and which just blew me away because I felt it so easy to write, and something that was this easy to do couldn't possibly be something you could make money from.
Yeah,
Right.
and writing's the easy part, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
It gets tough. It's funny. You think it would get easier and easier. No, it's tougher because now I can't do that because I did that in book three or book three. And that's another thing. I don't remember what is in which book, so I have to go back and reread them. And that's some of the hardest parts of doing a new book. I gotta find how did I put that?
That's true. So you don't keep like a spreadsheet or a canon document to cover characters and settings and all that?
Well, no, actually, yes, I did. I started to, but then it got so long, and I use vellum to write with, so I can go back and use the search function on that and find things in the different books a little easier.
Yeah, I started using a spreadsheet, and I thought I had everything covered, and my editor said, "Well, wait a minute, your character used this back in book 3, and you said he'd never done that." And I was like, "Well, I guess I better
I
straighten
saw a
that out."
meme
Right?
about that. Yeah, yeah, no, and then I'll go back and I'll make notes, but you just got to make sure that when you come in the next day, your cat hasn't thrown up on them. So they live on my desk.
The
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 notes
best
down
writing
cats.
partners, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
furry little writing partners.
Yep.
Yeah.
So obviously you've done quite a bit with being on the water, growing up on the water. Did that factor into how you wanted to write a book, or where the settings were that you wanted to write about?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The the community, the fishing community that I grew up in. I worked in a boatyard that made sport fishing boats. I worked out of a boatyard that made sport fishing boats. I was involved in that community, and there are some wild people. Um, the one of my characters, which a lot of folks say, "Oh, he's funny," but he he's just really out there. I'm like, no, he was patterned after someone, but I toned that guy down. Just wild,
Yeah,
wild
that
people.
that's the key. You gotta make people believable, but there's a line that um, I think even in fiction we don't want to cross, because people will think that we're too far out there.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, I in one of my books I wrote that the guy, my character Ryan Weller, went to Venezuela, and the Venezuelans picked him up and thought he was an American spy, and they threw him in jail. And I had a reader email me and said, I really didn't think that was true. And then shortly after that, a couple of mercenaries tried to invade Venezuela and assassinate the president. So there's always that fine line of telling the truth and reality, and then being kind of like a fortune teller. Do you find that what you write about comes true down the line?
Enough times that it has really shaken me at times. Um, you just you just never know. I mean, I'm trying to think of stuff that's believable. I'm trying to think of stuff that's plausible, but uh, and then it comes true. And it was funny because when I moved here to this little town, it's Crozet, west of Charlottesville, and I was reading um, a Clancy book. The latest Clancy book came out, and his terrorists came over the mountain and drove through Crozet. Our population is like 3,000 at the time. So that was, I'm living in Clancy's world,
Your claim to fame, right?
I guess.
Or the town's claim to fame.
Yeah, no. My claim to fame is John Grisham lives in the county, and I've bumped into him at times, and he and I have the same insurance agent.
6 degrees of separation, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Um. So, what's your approach when you're kind of thinking about that future things that are going to happen? What's your approach to raising the stakes without falling into that formula with 12 plus books out there?
Formula. I don't really have a formula. I'm just trying to. I went to a book reading with Carl Hyacin years ago down in West Palm, and little tiny group, probably 40 people in this room, and if you can believe that for a Hyacin book. Um, And somebody asked him, where do you get all these fabulous ideas for your books? And he said, well, I worked on the city desk at the Miami Herald for years. He said, all you have to do is pick up the Miami Herald. And you'll find another book every day.
That's true. I read a lot of headlines, a lot of crime and stuff that happens in around the Caribbean to find good plots.
Yeah.
So how far ahead do you plan? Are you planning ahead in the series, or are you more of a pantser that just kind of comes up with the idea and then works it into the series?
I'm a pantser. I get up in the morning and I have no idea how I was going to get out of this spot last night. And then in the morning, hey, I got an idea. And I just let her rip. And yeah, it makes writing more interesting for me, makes it more fun. And hopefully it makes it more fun for my readers. Because if I can't think it up beforehand, they can't either.
Yeah, that's true. I always find that my characters, because I'm a pretty much a pantser too, so I always find that my characters will talk to me and tell me what they want to do, where they want to go, that kind of thing. Is that the case for you?
Oh yeah, I tried telling them where to go, and no, that does not work. You gotta channel them and let her rip.
So
I did put in a few things like with the character Baloney, the captain. Um, Little things that make them real for me and help me hear the character better. He on the outrigger, on sport fishing boats, they'll put up flags for fish that they caught that day: sailfish, marlin, dolphin. Well, when he catches wahoo, he flies a black brassiere, and that was that came from a captain that I knew in West Palm, and he also had a tuna tower on his boat that at Christmas time, and his boat was right down on Flagler Drive. It was the first boat that you saw at the municipal marina, and you could see it from the road. He had an inflatable Santa Claus that he would put up in the tower, and he taped a beer can in the Santa Claus's hand, and so that went in the book. It just helps me see the character a little clearer.
I got to ask, is the beer can empty or full?
The beer can was empty.
Probably drank it while he's putting the Santa up, right?
Oh, I drank quite a few of them with him on the dock. So he was a wild man. And,
so how do you keep your books all take place on the Chesapeake Bay? How did you decide that was where you wanted to write instead of writing Florida? And then how do you keep the environment from overwhelming the characters? Because that's a pretty strong environment.
that environment is a character in the
Yeah.
books. It absolutely is. I didn't want to write Florida because everybody else was writing Florida. Nothing personal. Uh, and it's funny when I got up here and I was writing, and I had been reading John Cunningham's books, the Buck Riley series. I'd been reading it for quite a while, and I had no idea he lived about 2 hours from me in Virginia. He also lives in Key West,
Yeah.
but he raised his kids up here, and so I'm not the only one. And
Yeah,
so,
he travels back and forth quite a bit.
yes, he does. Yes,
Yeah.
he does. But he did some interesting. Buck Riley's roots are all in Virginia.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, and it was interesting. John and I have gotten to be good friends, and talking with him about growing up. He actually grew up in D.C.
Yeah. I mean, that's another strong setting for your books if you Want to
Oh
get
yeah.
environmental and political.
Politics? No.
No.
No, 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 no. I've had people really rip me for uh, believing that one character is extremely to the left. The other people believing that same character is extremely to the right. I'm not touching politics with a 10-foot pole, at least not intentionally.
I mean, that's I I I write a lot of politics into my books because there's CIA thrillers and that, so the politics are like ingrained in that.
Yeah.
Um, I would have figured that you writing about the Chesapeake Bay. I mean, that's a pretty strong political environment, and there's a lot of politics involved in the environment.
Oh yeah. And you've got environmentalists that want to save it. Uh, they'll give their lives to saving the bay, and then you've got watermen that want to kill the environmentalists because it's hurting their living. At least that's the way that they see it.
Yeah.
Um, and so you have to look at both sides, and then I put that into a book, and it's I do have some of that with the Mid Atlantic Fishery Foundation that I created in there that wanted to stop the killing of um, marlin and sailfish and whatever for tournaments, which just that drives me nuts. But that's about as political as I get.
So speaking of more controversial topics, you have a book about AI,
I do.
right?
I do.
So what's your take on AI? Are you using it to help? Using it as a tool to assist you with your writing?
No,
Okay.
I will not use it in my writing at all. I mean, we're looking at now. There are already ads out there with be an author. All you have to do is put a little bit into this AI, and poof, it'll pop out your book for you. It's not writing. That's not a book. That's electronic garbage. Um, I okay. Let me back up. I do use AI to create a vision of a character a or a location when I'm not actually using a location, a real location. But they don't go into the books. Uh, they may go into an ad, but that's as far as I go. Um, but in being in tropical authors, tropicalauthors.com, we cannot. We're all sworn not to use AI in our writing. And if somebody gets caught using AI in writing, I don't think they're going to be in TA much longer.
Okay. Um, I I actually find it useful to help with editing, like grammar mistakes and commas and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean that's not in my view. That's not AI. That's AI
Okay.
is not doing the writing. AI is doing the correcting,
Yeah.
um, which sometimes I need a little correcting.
I've toyed around with it quite a bit, and I can't force it into my own voice, and I end up just writing everything. That's it can give you some good suggestions on where to go, but I don't think it can write a decent book for you.
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, eventually it will. And all my books have come up on the list of books that were co-opted by AI to learn, which I'm not really happy about. But I guess it just counts as another reader. But
Yeah, but they didn't buy it, so um, doesn't
no,
really put money in your pocket. I think I had 17 of my books pop up on that list too, and then Apple went to Draft to Digital and said we'd like to use at least pay the authors for the book and produce audiobooks out of it, and that helped them train their LLM. But at least you got an audiobook narrated out of it, but it sounds horrible because it's AI narrated.
Next year, I'm going to start having my books turned into audiobooks, and but it's going to be done by a person.
Well, I don't think that the AI is quite caught up to. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but it's just that most people aren't going to listen to an AI voice and have sworn off AI. Listen to AI voices; they want to hear a human.
Absolutely. And I want to forge a relationship with a with a voice actor,
Yeah.
so that it's continuous. And that I mean, we're both friends with Nick Sullivan, and Nick is he's a fantastic actor, not just voice actor, but I mean he's been in, I don't know, half a dozen Law and Orders and all different kinds of movies and all, and he brings to the table something that I don't think AI ever could.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about that a little bit. Are you looking for a narrator? Have you found a narrator? What are you looking for in a narrator?
I'm not actively looking yet. It was Wayne Stennett, another friend of ours, a joint friend of ours. He was talking about when he went looking for the voice of Jesse McDermott. He had gone through a list of narrators, and none of them just had it. And then he heard Nick Sullivan, and he's like, "That's Jesse."
Yeah.
And so I think that I'm hoping that's how it'll happen. Now I'm a little different in that I don't write just from one character's point of view from book to book. I use this same group of characters. I don't always write in first person. Sometimes it's third person. So I'm out there, but it works.
Yeah.
Just when I'm working on the premise of the book, it'll just come to me. This really needs to be seen from Marlon's viewpoint, or the hovering at 36,000 feet, looking down on it. So,
So you're looking for. I mean, obviously you have different characters' viewpoints throughout the book. Are you going to find a voice actor that will cover all those, or are you going to use a different one per character?
yeah, I'm hoping to find a voice actor that will be able to do all of them.
Okay.
And also that has a little bit of my voice. The voice, we all hear ourselves one way, and everybody else hears us a different way.
That's true.
Hopefully, someone that can make me hear myself with them as the story's narrated from that perspective.
Yeah, it's tough to find a someone that you think is going to be the voice of your character, because I've looked quite a bit and I've not found somebody that I think is the right fit for my books myself, and then you get down the series till you got 15, 20 books in a series, and then you go, oh my goodness, this is going to cost me an arm and a leg to get them all narrated.
Oh Lord, yes. And that's a very slow return on investment.
Yeah.
But although I've met a lot of people, when are you going to come out with audiobooks? Because I only listen to audiobooks, and I'm on the road a lot. I can't read while I'm on the road. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I get the same thing. People comment on my ads, Facebook ads, asking when I'm going to come out with audio. But I always say I'm working on it, but
And once you get started, you're committed. You're going to have to
Yeah.
keep going,
Yep.
because otherwise you're going to have some awfully mad people. And so, yeah, it's a chunk of change to have to plop down, and or you can do the okay, you split it with the narrator for the next however long, and I've thought about that, but I like owning my work.
I agree. I've looked at royalty share, and it stretches out over 7 years unless you buy them out, and then if you do buy them out at 7 years, then um, you lose a lot of all the reviews and that kind of thing because you have to repost the audio, and it's I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm with you. I would just want to own the work.
yeah. I
So
just it's mine. I want to keep it,
yeah,
and you lose a lot of control, and I guess I'm not always the easiest person to get along with, and if I wanted to change something, and that person didn't want to change, um, then we've got an impasse. I don't
yeah,
want to live like that.
yep. So with the narration part of it, when you write, are you putting the regional dialect into your book? And how do you weave that in so that people can understand what you're talking about?
Well, I put in the back of the books. I put a glossary of some of the nautical things. Um, yeah, I do put some of the regional stuff in, but not a lot of it. I mean, if you went out to Smith Island, they've got a dialect out there that's just it would not translate well onto the written page.
Yeah,
Um, Ocracoke, uh, the old time Ocracokers, or Ocockers as they call them, are have a the you got your hoy toiters, and that's the high tiders, which um, they're people from off island, and then on the eastern shore of Virginia, you got chicken neckers, and chicken neckers are people the other side of the bay, from the mainland of Virginia and Maryland, and chicken neckers pertaining to using chicken necks to catch crabs, and
interesting.
yeah, and so,
How far back does that? How far back does that phraseology go? Do you know?
um, beyond my lifetime, so I
Yeah,
don't know. I honestly don't know. And I mean, that's a common practice to use chicken necks and different pieces of chicken to catch crabs. And because man, crab gets onto something, they'll hang on to it. Doesn't matter if you're pulling it back to the surface; they're not going to let dinner go, and
yeah.
then you can get them in a net when you get them up to the surface. But
So
chicken fingers.
so how do you weave all this, into the character history environment, without making it like a big info dump?
Gradually, just feed it out gradually, unless it's the center point of the book. In Coastal Tuna, one of the mentioned math, Coastal, actually the first two, or actually first three books, had Mid Atlantic Fisheries Foundation in it as a big part of it, and then it gets mentioned farther on down the way, in the series, but not as prevalent, um, because it's not that it's not important. It's just that it's not the focus.
You find that you have to explain a lot of that. Like you're writing, obviously, you're writing books that somebody can pick up and start in the middle of the series. So you're having to explain what that mid-Atlantic fishery is or character info. Do you ever find that you're just dumping information and got to go back and rewrite it and tear it apart?
Yeah, I will put just a brief synopsis of something, and then I use a phrase, but that's a story for another day in the books, and that's a clue that this was covered in an earlier book, in
Okay.
depth in an earlier book. So that's how I get away with that.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it leads them into, oh, okay, all right, we've got to go buy the other books. Yes, you have to buy the other books.
yeah. So at one time we talked about you were talking about trying to go wide. Are you still just solid Kindle Unlimited, or are you thinking about going wide?
When the numbers will support it, I will go wide. Um, Back to that reading with Carl Hyacin, and to, there was a lady in the audience, and striptease had just come out at that point, and she said, "Aren't you upset with the way that Hollywood just treated striptease and just really uh, changed your book and all that?" And he got this funny look on his face, and he says, "Lady," he says, "this is not about great art. This is about the check cashing." So, and she looked like she'd gotten hit in the face with a baseball bat. But she was just had this view of him as a great artist, and I love writing. Writing's been part of my day every day for the last 7 years, and but in the end, if it doesn't make money for me, uh, then I'm not going to keep writing.
Okay.
I'm going to do something else. But this is right now. So far, I'm happy.
Okay.
And so when I want to reach more people, and so if I can reach more people going wide, I'm going to make more money, and therefore, um, I'll go wide.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm stuck with Amazon. Uh, Now I'm stuck with Am. Let me go back and redefine that. I'm stuck with Amazon for ebooks and Kindle books and Kindle Unlimited. Um, I do have hardback, hardcover and paperback books through Amazon, but I also have them through Ingram Sparks, which walked into this little um, walked into this little bookstore on Ocracoke Island, and talking with the owner. I said, "Yeah, I write books. As a matter of fact, I've got Ocracoke in a couple of them." And she said, "Oh, okay. So I can get them through Ingram Sparks." I said, "No, Amazon has them, and and does it." And she's, "Get out of my store." What? She says, "You just named my number one competition. Get out of my store." So then I went back and I found out what Ingram Sparks was all about, and they sold all the independent bookstores, libraries, um, people that hate Bezos,
Yeah.
all those folks. So, and I've
Hey,
started selling on Ingram Sparks, and Ingram Sparks is now selling um, about even with my paperbacks and on Amazon,
that's
and
terrific. Yeah.
it's been coming up, and that's a growing part of my paperback sales.
People love to hold a paperback still, especially our older readers. And I know I sell a lot of. I'm on Ingram Spark too. I don't sell that much through them, but every once in a while I'll get a monthly statement from them and go, "Hey, I sold something."
Yeah,
But
no, I'm selling something every day on it, Ingram Sparks. I'm a happy person.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, yeah, I just want to. I want to walk into bookstores and find my books.
it's a that's an
Yeah,
amazing feeling, isn't it? It's
isn't it though?
to be to
And if the
see your book on a shelf.
yeah, yeah, do you know Rodney Rizell?
I've heard of his name, but I don't
Yeah, he's on
never
TA
talked
with
to him.
us,
Okay.
and Rodney has a I've been reading Rodney for years, and he's funny. His books are funny. His characters are a riot. Um, and he lives in I'll say it's in New York. It is in New York, Herkimer, New York, and he goes down to um, Jensen Beach, that area, Stewart, on vacation a lot, and he was he was sitting at a table having breakfast with his wife, and somebody, "Are you Rodney Rizell?" So he got a huge kick out of that.
Mm.
Um,
That's
I
always amazing to get recognized by somebody and for your work. That's
Makes you feel
fantastic, right?
good. Makes you
Yeah.
realize you're when that happens, you're doing something right.
Yep. Yep. So
So
it's always fantastic to be recognized for what you're doing and kind of validate that isolation you sit through while you're writing a book.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't look at it as isolation. I just look at it as kind of like, beam me up now, Scotty.
Yeah,
I want to go to that alternate universe.
that's true. I once wrote a blog post that I where I postulated that maybe we're not, when you get into the flow state and ideas are just flowing to you, that maybe we're pulling that from a fifth dimension and not, or from a alternate universe that the characters are really telling us what's happening from there.
Just don't know, and that's a genre that has intrigued me. And I have a lot of friends that are sci-fi writers, and I I don't think I have a large enough imagination to write like they are. Um, but I would love to. Uh, and, but then again, it's kind of like you were talking about that AI book. At the time, um, that AI, what's in the book, was not wasn't something that was possible. Now we've leaped beyond that, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that's a kindergarten book now, um, because it talks about AI writing something and actually, okay, that one went political because it was leaning. Um, it was uh, it was pushing politics in one direction or another. For it was kind of like um, being kidnapping an election for the right amount of money.
So when you're sitting there letting the characters beam down to you, what is your daily writing routine? Does it shift around the deeper you get into a series, or do you stay pretty consistent with what you're doing?
Uh, I'm I'm pretty consistent. Some days, of course, you'll get a lot more um, out of the day than others. I mean, I've had 5,000 word days, and I've had 800 word days.
Yeah.
I don't like those. Um, and I just I get up. I come down, and my office is in my house. Is in a room in the front of my house, and shut it off from the rest of the house, and and then just start writing. And if it's flowing, I just keep going. Um, if not, I'll muddle through There's always something to do. There's always ads. There's always something. If it's not flowing, I can't force it.
Yeah.
And I've made big mistakes trying to force the story. Doesn't work. It's like telling the characters what to do. Doesn't work. And if the characters don't want to talk to you that day, write an ad.
That is true. It's some of those tough days are I find action to be fairly easy to write. Like if I got action scenes, but it's the middle stuff where you're, the bridge between the action. There's sometimes with the character dialogue or you're trying to develop the character. That's the toughest stuff to write.
Yeah, really is. The bridge. That's an interesting phrase. Um,
You can
but
have
it
that
is.
one. I coined it for you.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. I'll use it.
Yeah.
But I won't tell them it was your idea. Um, the yeah, no, it is. I mean, and I'll go back. First thing I do in the morning is go back and reread what I wrote the day before, and
Okay.
that's when I edit it. And that'll be probably the last time I touch it before I send it out at the end to get edited, um, and then and proofread, and um, so it editing. That's another
Yeah.
one.
That's the toughest thing I have to do. Because sometimes you just think, what, the editor didn't understand what I was trying to say. They didn't get it, or didn't I present it properly, or what's your take on it?
Oh, the Deborah. Oh Lord, Deborah Brown, who has dozens of books out, and writes a series set down in the Keys. And she and I were talking, and she was so upset. This was years ago. This editor just does not get me. So she finally found an editor that gets her and gets the characters, because it's a very unique series, and the characters are definitely out there. I mean, really, really out there. Um, and it takes a very unique person to be able to take that in and say, okay, that's not wrong. This is right. I get it. Okay, and then they have to get in the mindset of your characters, but look at it from the perspective of the readers, which we're not able to do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I went through 3 or 4 editors before I found one, and my guideline was they have to write nothing. They have to edit nothing but thrillers and understand the thriller market. Um, and I finally found one and I have a love-hate relationship with him. So I like him until I have to write him a check, and then I like him until he sends a manuscript back, and then I hate him for the week I'm editing, and then I go back to liking him again. So
Oh man, when it comes back and I have to go through everything, and then I'm looking at it and going, I don't agree with that. That's staying. I'm not taking that out. But and I've got a really good uh, uh, editor, uh, I don't overrule her often.
that's a good thing. I mean, we always look at it and go, well, I can keep this or I can change it. And a lot of times I'll be like, that guy just didn't get it. And then I'll think about it and go, he's right. And then you go make a change, and
With
probably
mine,
for the better.
it's got to be something that really changes the whole flow of the story, for me to overrule her,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's looking at it from a fresh perspective, and I've already read it. Lord knows how many times.
Yeah. It's 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 tough. That's one of the hardest things that I have to do. the writing is the easy part. The editing is for me the worst part.
How much
But
reading do you do?
how much reading?
Yeah,
I read, I don't know, probably 3 4 books a month,
interesting.
and
Did
and
you ever read On Writing by Stephen King?
yes, I have. Yeah.
And he talks about reading and reading other people and how important it is
N- Yeah, and
for
that's a. I tell new writers that too. I'm like, go out and read. Go read a wide variety, not just in your genre, but other books, and because that teaches you how to write. Lets you see the sentence structure, lets you see how other people um,
the
craft their work.
styles. Yep, seeing the different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
yeah, I mean, what are you reading a lot? Or
I'm not reading as much as I used to. I used to read, I don't know, 5 books a week.
yeah,
In addition to writing my own, and I'd be up till way past midnight reading. If it's a good one. If it's not a good one, I'm not going to finish it. So, um, and I need to get back into reading more. Unfortunately, um, they have the Bosch series got me,
yeah,
uh, and now I'm waiting breathlessly for Ballard starting. I think that's Thursday,
yeah.
and
It comes out on Amazon.
yeah,
Yeah,
Prime Video,
yeah. The
and
the third the third spinoff from the Boss series, or is that
yeah,
what it is?
yeah,
Second or third? Yeah,
yeah, and the actress in that, she's awesome, and she's been in a few other things, but I think this is going to be her biggest role,
yeah.
and
And Amazon has done such a good job of that series. Well, all the Bosch and then Bosch Legacy, they've done a really good job with those.
hmm and think about it, 20 or 25 years ago, Bezos was in his garage selling books out of his garage. That
And
was his
people were
warehouse.
telling him it's not going to work.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. They told Fred Smith that too with FedEx,
Yeah,
and but no, yeah. I mean, everybody thinks about Amazon. Oh, they sell everything. They were a bookstore. It was all about selling books. And now look at them. Look at the size of Amazon Studios and what's going on with that.
yeah.
There was no Netflix, and now
Yeah.
Amazon's great. Oh, did you happen to see? Uh, was it the Waterman?
Waterfront.
Yes, Waterfront.
Yeah, yeah. I watched it. It is interesting.
Yeah, at least they got the location right. I mean, the Outer Banks, that show, first first scene. I looked at it and said, "That's South Carolina. That's not the Outer Banks. There's nowhere in the Outer Banks that looks anything like that."
Yeah, I
And that
watched.
just blew
I
that
watched a
blew the
bit of the
story
Outer
for me.
Banks.
Blew the series for me. I couldn't watch it after that. And Fool's Gold, the movie, set in Key West with mountains in the background and Australian accents, filmed in Australia. All the
Yeah,
extras were Australian.
you have to just. I mean, just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I watched Outer Banks, and there were parts of it that were just. I just looked at people and go, how do you have such bad judgment that you continue to? I don't. I just can't. It's part of it was just so unbelievable for me. I couldn't take it anymore.
Well, and
Yeah.
the location, when we started, we were talking about location as part of it. The location is as important as the characters. The location is another character, if you
Yeah,
let it. Um, if you don't, you're fighting against the current.
absolutely. I think it. I think no matter where you set your books, the location has to be a character.
Hmm.
If you just take a Bosch, L.A. is a central character in that book.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Um, and I learned a lot. And I've been to L.A. once, and I learned a lot about L.A. From Bosch, and from the series. Have you
yeah,
ever been on the Chesapeake?
yeah. I was stationed in Virginia Beach for about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank you for your service, by the way.
yeah, I
Um,
mean a lot of beer
yeah.
drinking and partying. So
Virginia Beach is well known for that.
I had
Everybody
a good
thinks
time.
Key West. It's like, nah.
Yeah, no, it's
Virginia
I
Beach
mean,
has
there's a reason there's signs in the yard that says sailors and dogs keep off the grass. So
absolutely. um, uh, this one that I'm writing now, Coastal Mission, and uh, uh, the first part of it is centered around Rudy Inlet and uh, Lynn Haven, and that in those two areas,
yeah,
and in things that happen there. I'm not going to give too much away, but there are like I mentioned the dredge that's at Rudy Inlet. Well, if you've been to Virginia Beach, you've seen it, or
yep,
you've seen the pipes, or there's a story behind it, um, and so anyway, I just try and uh, uh, put things in there that you would see, you'd read it and go, oh, okay, got it, I understand that,
yeah,
but you're one of 100, and 100, the other 99 people go, I've never been there.
yeah,
So
yep. I mean I just got done writing a book that's set in Guatemala. Never been there, so a lot of Google Earth. Read a lot of blogs and watch a lot of YouTube videos. So, and the one thing about it is that you can never capture the smell. That's what I've discovered. I can write the climate, the terrain, and describe the geography, but it's the smell of the place that you can't get looking at
and
the
the
computer.
sound of the jungle there
Yeah,
is just, I went to Guatemala several times when I was a kid. I mean, a pre-teenager. My dad did. He was a he amateur archaeologist, and he actually discovered one of the pyramids at Tikal,
nice.
and and we would go and uh, stay at the Jungle Lodge in Tikal, thatched roofed huts, and you have power until 10 o'clock, and they shut the generator down, and you're uh, in mosquito nets, and um, so very the sounds at night of the jungle um, are just, I couldn't describe them. I couldn't sit down and do them justice.
Yeah,
All the creatures that are roaming
it's
around at night.
yeah, and then you start thinking about well, what's actually roaming around out there, and then you
I
stay in the
have
hut, right?
I have a jaguar skin up up in my pool room, that was part of a pair of jaguars that came in and killed some villagers, and the government sent some of their guys out and shot both of them. And my father and his buddy had done a lot for Tikal in the early days of the discovery and the archaeology expeditions that were going in there. So the government gave them the skins. So it's kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, just a little reminder of things that go bump in the night.
that's true. That's true. This is so my final question I ask this to you, every author I talk to. What's the one thing you want readers to take away from your books?
I can't wait for the next book.
That's a great thing. It builds that suspense, right?
Yeah, and I get an awful lot of that on Facebook. I can't wait for the next book. When's it coming out? And it's like, oh man, because I'm way behind. I should have put this book out 6 months ago. The one that I'm writing, I'm actually writing two now, but the first one I should have put out 6 months ago. And fortunately, I'll have this one out in another 2 months, and then the other one that's right behind it, probably a month or two behind it. So that'll be a nice 1-2 punch for them.
Yeah.
Give them something for Christmas.
Yeah, that's amazing. You always want the readers to be ready for the next book. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I love seeing the followers on Amazon go up. I check that every day, and see, oh look, I picked up another 4 followers last night, and my newsletter, seeing the numbers of subscribers to the newsletter increase all the time.
Tell me how we can subscribe to that.
Go to my website, donrichbooks.com. It'll take you to the opening page, and there's a link on there that will actually give you a free book. It'll give you the prequel. It's a novella, about 30,000 words, of the Mobjack series. And so you get that for free, and then you get the newsletter. And then
Awesome.
I only put the newsletter out. Supposed to put it out every month. Doesn't always happen every month. But see, I'd like it to happen every month. And so that'll keep you up to date with what's going on, what I'm writing, why I'm writing it, why the books aren't out yet. Just lets you look at the inside of my life a little bit.
That's awesome. And that's a great place to wrap this up. So that's it for this episode of Plot Recon, where thrillers get tactical. Big thanks to Don Rich for walking us through how he builds tension in the water and keeps a long-running series tight, and grounds every story in places he knows inside and out. If you haven't picked up the Coastal Adventure series, start with Coastal Conspiracy and see how it all begins. As always, if you've got something out of this episode, share it, leave a review, and subscribe wherever you got the podcast. I'm Evan Graver. Thanks for listening. Stay sharp, write hard, and keep your fiction tactical.